Why leaving early saved his career. From the outside, it looked impulsive, a decision made too soon, an exit before things became clear. Most careers reward endurance. Staying longer signals commitment. Leaving early raises questions. In professional culture, quitting too soon is often framed as impatience or lack of resilience. But sometimes, staying longer doesn't build strength. It deepens misalignment. To understand why leaving early mattered, we need to look at the role he entered with optimism. The opportunity was promising. Strong team, clear mission, a chance to grow quickly. On paper, it was exactly what he had been working toward. The first months went well. Learning was fast. Feedback was positive. He adapted quickly. But beneath the progress, something fell off. Not wrong, but constrained. The work rewarded speed over thought, output over understanding. The environment prized momentum, not reflection. At first, he dismissed the discomfort. New roles always feel awkward. Adjustment takes time. He told himself to push through, to settle in, to trust the process. But the signals didn't fade. They sharpened. Meetings felt rushed. Decisions felt reactive. Mistakes were repeated without examination. He noticed how often urgency replaced strategy, how little space existed for learning from failure. And the more he paid attention, the clearer the pattern became. The problem wasn't the workload. It was the direction. He realized the role was shaping habits he didn't want to carry forward, teaching him to move fast without thinking deeply, to prioritize optics over substance, to normalize shortcuts he knew would limit growth long-term. Still, leaving early felt dangerous. He worried about perception, about resumes, about explaining a short tenure without sounding unreliable. Staying longer would be easier socially. Leaving now would be honest, but costly. And that was the conflict. Remain comfortable and misaligned, or exit early and protect the trajectory. Because sometimes the risk isn't leaving too soon. It's staying long enough to become someone you never intended to be. The longer he stayed, the clearer the trade-off became. Comfort was increasing. Alignment was not. He noticed how quickly habits formed. Shortcuts became routine. Decisions were justified by speed instead of quality. What began as adaptation slowly turned into normalization, and that worried him more than uncertainty ever had. Colleagues encouraged patience. Every role has flaws, they said. Growth requires tolerance. Leaving early would close doors. He listened, but the advice didn't resolve the unease. It only delayed action. The conflict sharpened internally. Staying meant protecting reputation in the short term. Leaving meant protecting integrity in the long term. One choice optimized for optics, the other optimized for direction. And the longer he waited, the harder the second choice became. He tested his assumptions carefully, asked questions, sought clarity, tried influence change. Some efforts landed, most didn't. The system wasn't broken. It was optimized for a different priority than his own. That realization mattered. If the environment rewarded what he didn't want to become good at, then growth here would come at a cost, not immediately visible, but cumulative. The skills he was developing would travel with him, and not all skills are equally transferable in healthy ways. The fear of explaining a short tenure lingered. He imagined interviews, raised eyebrows, doubt, but another fear grew louder. The fear of explaining to himself why he ignored the signs. Because staying longer would provide more evidence, but not more clarity. The information he needed was already present. Waiting would only make leaving feel heavier. Eventually, he accepted a difficult truth. Leaving early wasn't avoidance. It was discernment. And discernment often looks like impatience to those who don't share your criteria. Once that truth settled, the decision stopped feeling rushed. It felt necessary. And necessity has a way of quieting fear. The moment he decided to leave, the conflict shifted. Fear didn't disappear. It changed shape. Instead of worrying about whether he should go, he worried about how the choice would follow him. Short tenures leave traces. Assumptions attach quickly. He knew the explanation would matter. But more importantly, he knew the story he told himself had to be true. He prepared carefully. Not an escape, but a transition. He documented what he learned, reflected on what didn't align, clarified what he wanted to avoid repeating. Leaving early wasn't about erasing the experience. It was about extracting its lesson before it became habit. The reaction was mixed. Some people understood immediately, others didn't. A few cautioned that he was overthinking. That success often requires staying long enough to adapt fully. But adaptation wasn't the issue anymore. The issue was direction. What surprised him most was a relief. Not because uncertainty vanished, but because internal tension did. The constant negotiation between instinct and expectation ended. The decision brought coherence back. For the first time in months, his actions matched his judgment. He noticed how quickly perspective returned once distance was created. The environment he left behind revealed its patterns clearly. The urgency, the shortcuts, the normalization he had resisted. Staying would have taught him to tolerate those things. Leaving preserved his ability to question them. But the hardest part came next, explaining the decision to others. He learned to speak honestly without defensiveness, to frame the exit not as rejection, but as alignment. Not all environments are wrong, but not all environments are right for the same trajectory. And that clarity carried weight. The conflict reached its peak not at the moment of leaving, but in the days after. Because walking away early forces you to trust your internal compass without external validation. There is no outcome yet to justify the choice, only conviction. And conviction, when tested by uncertainty, either collapses or hardens into something durable. His did the latter, and that durability became the foundation for what came next. The payoff didn't arrive as immediate success. It arrived as direction. The roles he pursued next were chosen differently. He evaluated environments by what they rewarded, not just what they offered. Pace, learning, decision quality. The criteria he gained by leaving early guided every conversation that followed. What he found wasn't perfection. It was fit. The career he built afterward didn't require unlearning habits he never wanted in the first place. The skills he developed compounded cleanly. The judgment he protected early became an asset later. And the short tenure that once felt risky became a footnote instead of liability. Leaving early didn't stall his career. It preserved it. His story challenges a common assumption, that endurance always signals maturity, that staying longer automatically builds credibility. In reality, credibility comes from alignment over time, not from tolerance without purpose. Not every exit should be early, but every stay should be intentional, because the cost of misalignment isn't always visible in the moment. It accumulates quietly, shaping habits that follow you far longer than a role ever will. Sometimes the smartest career move is recognizing when you've seen enough and trusting yourself enough to leave before staying becomes a mistake. Why